And today we're at the beautiful Hengersbury Head. Let's have a look at the structure for the assignment. Before you watch this video, you should really have looked at the one that outlines and introduces the assignment and gives you an overview of the structure and how it works. And what you'll notice or remember from that is that I've got quite a tight structure for this, and there's a very good reason for that. If I don't give you a structure, you tend to go off on tangents. You include things which aren't relevant. And it's important that you stay focused on the content that relates to your learning and what the intended learning outcomes are for this unit. So, again, I apologise, although this is a business feasibility plan because it has an academic side to it, I will keep referring to it as the business plan assignment. So the next section is the concept and value proposition. And this is key. It's short, to the point, and it's very much centred around your business model canvas. And you'll include that as an appendix, you'll notice that at the end. But I want you to draw out from that business model canvas what your core concept is, what's important about it. The business model canvas isn't an essay, it's not got thousands of words, it's got bullet points in each of the 9 headings that all should make sense synergistically together to create that whole business. And what is it that's at the core of it? That's your concept and value proposition section. Next one are your business objectives. And as with the executive summary, you're not going to do these at the beginning. You might set out some broad objectives, but really you want those objectives to evolve as you go through the market research and analysis, and then move that on to becoming a financial plan and looking at different scenarios. How many might you sell? What might the price be? What costs will you have for the business? So those business objectives will come out of that. And we're actually going to address that in more detail at the 3rd stage, at the create stage, when you're starting to pull it all together and you've dealt with all the dark corners that need research to sort them out. Those objectives should also be SMART. Not smart as in clever, but smart as in specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. That's what SMART objectives are. You can measure them, they're achievable, they're something that's tangible, they shouldn't be wishy-washy. The business environment analysis section. This is the, if you like, the macro environment for your business. For example, are you doing anything that might relate to new laws? Something that's changed that allows new products to come to market? Is it something that fills a need? Maybe it taps into the trend for digital voting for elections. That's all very popular at the moment. Yeah? You want to be able to understand what the business environment in your market area, not necessarily a specific niche part of the market, but in that broad market area, what's happening that's relevant to your business that affects how you design it and how you run it and its ability to succeed. Market research and analysis, one of the bigger sections. This will send you down avenues of looking into online databases like Mintel and others that I'll direct you to find out what the potential size of your market is, what the shape of it is, who the potential customers are, what demographics do they fit into, how much do they earn, how big is that market, and what part of it might you potentially tap. This is quite a big research section, but I'll guide you steady as we go through the semester to find out and research your particular market for your concept, to analyse the data and to pull out the key points that have a very good supporting argument for your new business idea. SWOT analysis. You're at a point now where you're starting to pull things together and go to the planning stage. You need to stop and take a formal risk assessment stage. Look at what you've got and see how good it is. So one of the ways to look at the risk associated with something to see how feasible it might be is to use SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. They are specific to your particular idea. What are its strengths beyond its value proposition? What are the weaknesses that might make it difficult to succeed? What opportunities exist in that market? And what are the potential threats that could trip you up as you go along, as you start to build the business? You need to be really clear on these, do it as a table, and then bring out the key risks and how you intend to mitigate them. After the SWOT analysis, we move to the marketing plan. And although, as you'll discover as we look at the marketing in more detail, there are P's and P's and P's and loads of P's and not just 4 of them. Sometimes there's 7, sometimes there's not. Don't worry about it. I just want you to focus on the 4 P's. So we've got product, price, promotion, and place. They're the 4 key ones, they're the traditional ones. They cover most of the things that you'll need to consider for your marketing plan. And it's important, remember all the way through this, that your marketing plan connects to what you've done before in the plan. So for example, your concept, your market research, your SWOT analysis, it should all make sense and connect seamlessly to your marketing plan. Then we're moving on to financial planning. And again, don't get scared. Finance! No, it's okay. It's not that bad really. But that's the reaction students have with it sometimes, and you shouldn't. With my Excel planning spreadsheet where you can try out different scenarios with only changing a few fields with a very simple formula that you can use to base your own assignment on, you'll have no problem with the finance. Now remember that the detail about your finance will be done in the business plan, and there's a word allowance for this. But here in this section, I want you to pull out the key points to do with the finance. In particular, the cost, volume, price balance, the 5 fingers, which you might remember. So you've got to balance cost, volume and price to create sustainable profit and always remain in positive cash flow. And I think you'll all get that and be very clear on it by the time you come to work on the finance in detail. I also want you to consider in there where you're getting the finance from. And remember, this is authentic. This thing has to work in the real world. So I don't want any fancy, oh, well, I'll just get 5 grand from some bank called, run by a guy called Ivor Lottadosh. You want to actually be looking at funding schemes which are appropriate to your market or appropriate to your industry. Innovation funds, startup funds in particular markets. There are lots of different ways that you can look at financial opportunities beyond looking for angel investors or bigger investors if you've got quite a sizable amount of money that you'll need. But remember, if you're looking for a lot of money, you've got to justify that. In most cases, people start better with a smaller amount and build up gradually. And as you'll find when we come to talk about the finance, I actually recommend taking funding in stages so that you can gradually prove what you can do, and each time you can bid for more successfully and more easily. And finally, the appendices. These are standard, so things like your business model canvas and just a screen dump of your profit and loss and a couple of the key sheets. But then don't forget that you'll be submitting that full Excel spreadsheet separately. You might not in a formal commercial situation, but I need to be able to see those numbers so that I can tweak your prices and look at your volumes or look at your financing so that I can give you really useful feedback to see where you could have improved them. And we'll deal with the admin of submitting that separately later on. Overall, this really tight structure is based on an evolving, improving solution each year. I know that it works, and I have great faith in all of you to actually do a really good job of it. So follow the guidelines, use this document, use the assignment brief, come to the sessions, and I know you'll all do fantastically. Assignment!